Stephanie Weyman, and I played Adrienne Monnier. And she was one of the first women to own a business and run a business in 1915 in Paris. She was a lover of books, and she opened up her own bookseller called La Maison des Amis des Livres, which is translated to the House of Friends of Books. It was a place where she focused mostly on modernist writers, the avant-garde, the cutting edge. She really believed that this was a time where you were moving away from romanticism and trying to find new forms and new ways of expressing the new generation, the now generation, which no longer want to be repressed and restrained by traditionalist values. She was a writer herself. She was a critic. She was a poet. She was apparently an amazing chef. Her chicken was apparently to die for. Adrienne Monnier, being a woman, she was a really great inspiration to other women on how to educate themselves through the written word. Women weren't so encouraged at that time, or at least definitely right before this time period in the 1920s, to lose themselves in the fantasy of books and, God forbid, write, or they were better off at home, and it was sort of, they were praised for taking care of others and not for searching for something else out there. So she was a great inspiration, not only as a business owner, but as an educated being and a curator who could really intimately speak with these women and help them on the road, their path of education. She was without pretension, and she wasn't a snob or a cold, preoccupied person. She was very down to earth. She also created a platform where artists would come and perform their own material in her bookshop, and people would flock in there and drink and smoke and listen to the written word spoken and hear it. And those were really exciting soirees, or I think she called them seances, literary seances. When Sylvia walks into Adrienne's life, it's just mind-boggling. It's cosmic, I guess. I mean, I remember reading that she says something to the effect, forgive me if I get it wrong, but something like, "Behold, my star has found your own." They had a working relationship as well as a love relationship, and it ran very, very, very deeply and actually never faltered, regardless of the tensions that they both, or physical ailments that they encountered throughout their lifetime together. Sylvia was on Adrienne's deathbed. When Sylvia came into the bookshop, she was looking for Adrienne because she had found something in the public library book that mentioned her bookshop, and she had heard about Adrienne having this amazing store, and she went in search or quest for enrichment, literary enrichment, and boy did she get it. She met this beautiful woman with mesmerizing eyes. They loved each other instantaneously, and I think the hat blew off of Sylvia's head, and Adrienne chased it down the cobblestone street and handed it back to her, and then they looked in each other's eyes and they giggled, and somehow they knew that they were kindred spirits. And then Adrienne went on to support Sylvia in her courageous quest to open a bookshop of her own, an English bookshop in Paris. And then Sylvia instantaneously had a clientele that was Adrienne's. That was a very generous exchange between the two of them. And that street was the hub of it was just the it street. It was the hub of literature in Paris. The scene was very cool. Anyone who was anyone traveled between those two bookshops. And then there was Joyce. He was had a new narrative style that had to get out, and that Adrienne wanted to be translated into French so that the French culture could be exposed to this work of art. They opened up their minds and their hearts and their bodies and their bookshops to the public. It was right off the street. They served their community greatly. I don't know many people that do that today.